I thought today it might be fun to show you how I go about creating a visive piece a little bit more in detail. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Kim. I'm a freelance visive artist in the wonderful world of animation, and I'm currently in the process of redoing my portfolio, giving it a much needed glow up. If you've been following along, then you know that I've been exploring the characters for this fantasy project that I've been working on for my portfolio. It's a wholesome fantasy book that I grew up with, that I feel very passionate about two brothers and their relationship in the afterlife in this fantastical world. I am now finally at a point where I'm quite happy with their designs. I think I got them locked in. I think they're set. So now what I think is missing is a piece that shows their relationship. A piece where they're both interacting with each other, but also kind of interacting with the world around them. Just something that ties it all together. I have this vision of an image of them both riding their horses called Grim and Fiala through this plant, shrubbery, foresty scene and just chatting, just having a lovely time. So I think that's the piece I feel like tackling today. So the very first step before we do anything is to gather our inspiration. And the thing that is most inspiring to me is and always will be nature. So that's what we're drawing from today. Green, plants, nature's compositions, all that stuff really fills my heart with joy and gets me excited to create. So let's do a study and see what flows out. I'm gonna be honest, I used to look down on people who used reference when drawing. I thought I needed to paint everything from my own head, from my own visual library in order to be a quote-unquote good artist. It took me far too long to realize that your visual library doesn't really grow if you feel maybe a little too prideful to actually look at the world around you and draw from it and learn from it. The more I learned to actually look at the world and gather reference pictures and do studies from real life and photos and accept life and nature as the truly best teacher, the more my understanding expanded. Whatever I really took the time to study really gets ingrained in my brain, my design brain. And then someday, yes, I will be able to draw from imagination without needing to rely on photos so much. Then on the flip side, I sometimes would do the opposite mistake and rely on my reference image far too much, usually in a time when I felt kind of insecure and not so confident about my own design skills and really just felt too fearful to create anything from my own heart, from my own vision. So I wouldn't stray at all from what the photo would have to offer. And I did end up kind of just copying the whole thing. And I think the way to avoid that is to be really clear and honest with yourself with why you chose this piece of reference. What is the one aspect that you find helpful in this image? Is it more maybe the mood, meaning the color and the atmosphere and the lighting of the scene, or the composition, anything that affects your emotion? Or is it more on the information side? Like, what does this object really look like? The anatomy of an animal, the textures, the materials, all the information that you can't really draw from the top of your head. Like, what does a windmill actually look like? How does it work? Like, there's mood and there's information kind of reference. And I would be really clear if you choose a piece of reference, which one of the two you're choosing and which aspect. Whatever your question is, focus on that and only that, and create all the rest from your own heart. For example, I have my reference images here that I've collected, and I'm looking at these to really nail the color and the lighting on these beautiful plant leaves. So when I go into drawing, I'm not gonna let it take myself hostage so that I feel the need to copy the shapes exactly of these leaves or the exact composition and sizes. It's truly just about the information of how light passes through these leaves and how that looks. And the colors, I'm taking what I need and leaving everything else behind. So we have our objective, we are inspired, and we have our reference. Let's get to painting. Alright, so I start every day with 25 to 50 minutes of warm-up sketches, depending on how long it takes. until I feel fully in tune with that inner artist version of myself. Whenever I feel myself getting into the flow state, that's when I switch to actually drawing something a little bit more subject matter-y to my project, to my work, or in this case my little portfolio piece today. Sometimes if it feels right, like it's important, I think that warm-ups stay completely rule-free. It's fully intuitive, it's fully just whatever you feel like you need that day. But today I felt called to kind of lean a little bit into the theme that I want to draw later, already getting warmed up in that subject matter way as well, meaning I had some horses flow in to my warm-up sketches today just because that's what I'm going to draw later. And it's been a hot minute since I painted horses. I've had such a horse painting phase. I would go to the farm and paint horses every day. Really wanting to finally get their anatomy right, really wanting to get their faces right and their flow and stuff, and it's still a really hard thing to paint for me, but it's also really fun because, you know, I've done it so often, so these aren't by no means perfect, but I do find myself in a position where I can be a little bit more playful. Anyways, I like where these went. I am currently in a state now, I think, where I feel warmed up enough to switch over to my painting, so let's do that. Quick intermission though, I don't know if you can tell, but it's raining like crazy today, which is perfect Vistive painting weather, in my opinion. Such a gray, gloomy day. Thumbnailing is also one of those intuitive approaches where I don't want to set too many rules for myself, and it will probably look a little bit different every time I do it. Right now, what feels right for me is not doing a variety of 5-6 different thumbnails for the composition and stuff, I think, but more starting at a place where I feel secure, like their faces, their poses, their connection, starting with that focal point, and then shrinking the image down more and more, and kind of like working myself through the image like that. That's what's feeling right today. Like I said, there's no right or wrong when it comes to thumbnailing. This is just about exploring still and feeling the composition out. Yeah. Now my little thumbnail is done. I feel like there's definitely some exploring I could do more. I feel like there's still a lot of maybe better compositions, more interesting compositions that I would find if I would let myself do like a couple more thumbnails. But this is just about their connection and not so much the world building around. So I feel like this very classic composition is sufficient. I might not even do too much of the background because, like I said, what I'm focusing on here is the acting and the relationship between the two. So I'm kind of antsy to get started with the actual painting. So I'm just gonna use this thumbnail, scale it up, and get into the actual first sketch of my painting, figure out their exact posing. This is where I'm gonna flip the canvas back and forth to make sure nothing looks wonky, and I'm gonna start to add more details to the characters and the world and the sizing of it all. One thing that comes to mind in the process of tying these poses down a little bit, and as you can see this is still super rough, is that I'm hoping to kind of convey that feeling of like a heavy horse. Like, I don't know if you've ever sat on a horse. I did some riding when I was a kid, but it's forever ago. But a year ago, my family did some horseback riding in Montana. Canada, which was really, really cool. And they had these horses kind of go to the backcountry, so we would go downhill on the horses, go through water creeks and stuff, and that feeling of this heavy pack of muscles just waiting, just like carrying all their weight, carrying my weight. It kind of had you like lean back a little bit. I'm kind of hoping to like capture that pose on Jonathan, which is a little bit difficult. I'm still looking for that pose. And also I'm hoping to kind of convey their weight that you can really feel when they're going downhill and really carrying all the weight on their front legs, a little bit in their posing and their shapes, hopefully. Another thing to look out for here, I think that I wouldn't pay attention to, I think a couple of years ago, is the, oh god, what is it called? What's it called in English? We call it Zügel in German. Reins, the reins, yeah, right. I heard of that one before. The reins drop down together with the weight, so if the head is down, make sure that it's not like a perfect ellipse. The reins, but like kind of goes with gravity, if that makes any sense. Like this whole image I'm thinking is like, could be a normal image of two people just riding on a horse, or it could be two people riding on horses that have weight and that are affected by our gravity. And I think that tiny detail is what's gonna make this drawing look really good. I just flipped my sketch, which is always the most humbling moment. I'm sure you're aware of this hack, but it kind of immediately shows you everything that's wrong, it's off balance. When drawing, everything you thought looked so right in one perspective looks really, really awful in another perspective, which means that there's something got wrong. And it's good to do that early and often. Sometimes I know something's off and I just don't want to flip, and I'm scared to look, and then I just finish and work very hard on a very wonky painting, and I just don't want to check. But today I checked and it looked awful, so I'm correcting and correcting. I'm doing a very rough sketch, and I feel like I have to do a couple rounds of tie downs for this one until this one actually looks done and finished. Yeah, I'm not really liking this at the moment. Time for a lunch break, time to walk the dog. Gonna have a little reset. I came back from my walk and kept drawing. I wasn't super motivated. I thought maybe I'll stop for the day, but I'm glad I decided to like try for another hour. The hour is over now, and now the sketch is at a point where I feel like I'm having fun again, or I feel like I'm liking it again. So it's 5 p.m. now, so I'm gonna stop soon. I'm just gonna do like maybe like 20 more minutes of final touches and stuff, so that tomorrow I could maybe do a clean line pass if I feel like it. That will probably be necessary, and jump into color, which I'm really excited about, which is a good sign. I thought, I don't know, I didn't really like where the drawing was going for the longest time, and now I'm kind of like, hey, this isn't so bad. I'm ending the day with some rough color keys. So I've got the sketch that I like, but I still really felt the itch to do some color stuff today, but did not feel like cleaning up my lines today, or rather felt like I'd be better at that tomorrow in the morning. So I am just doing some rough color explorations just to scratch that color itch for today. Maybe give me something to jump off of for tomorrow. Yeah, I'm just gonna do 2 today and leave space to try 2 in the morning. And then just choose the best one. Yeah. But like I said, this is the last thing I'm doing on this today. I'm gonna call it a night now. It is 6 p.m. I'm happy with what I got done. I wasn't sure if I was gonna leave my desk satisfied today, but I am. Yeah. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, and yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. Good morning, fellow artists. We're back with doing our warm-ups. I'm excited to keep going. This is what I landed on for this sketch, meaning I can now jump into color. Yesterday I already did 2 color keys, so I'm gonna do maybe 1 or 2 more just because I like where the ones yesterday went. But I feel like there might be some more exploration that I could do. Maybe just something a little bit more moody. I'm glad I explored some more with the colors, because I did end up choosing the very last color key that I did. I feel like that's a good mixture between it being still light and saturated colors, but also with having enough shading and dappled light to give it kind of that feeling that they're coming out of a cool forest out into a sunlit meadow kind of feel. And I feel like in this one the characters read the best, even though I still need to tweak the color on Jonathan, because Jonathan, well, no matter what I do, he always seems to be disappearing into the background. So I'll fix that when it comes to the final painting, which I've prepped my final template, got my references up, got the line work in and my little color key, and all I need to do now is go ahead and paint. I'm gonna do my best to not overdo this. I don't want this to be super painterly, super detailed, super realistic painting. I want it to have mood, I want it to feel light and playful. And when I over-render, I tend to lose that light feel, that playful feel. It's raining again. I might not finish today either. I was considering, honestly, for a second, to just wear the same outfit tomorrow and hide the fact that I've been working on this for 3 days and not just one like I hoped I would. I'm not gonna do that. This is the actual process, and sometimes, actually a lot of times, this stuff takes a little bit longer. I'm currently filling in some details on the plants, adding some more detailed shading here and there. It's fun. I don't feel as rushed as I did yesterday. I feel like I can kind of enjoy it. The rain is also helping. Oh, it's raining so hard. I love that. I'm still learning the skill of drawing and talking. I'm thinking about stuff to say as I paint here. The reason why I get so quiet when drawing is because I'm so busy with feeling, especially when it comes to color. It's kind of crazy how doing color work is so much about putting down one color next to the other and then observing what happens inside of me. Which might sound very vague, but if you've seen light all your life, you kind of know how it works. And if you put down a color and then go back and really like, okay, wait, does this really feel and look like a sunlit day? Or does this really look like these horses are planted in this world, are part of this world, are integrated in the world? All those answers kind of lie inside you. And if I draw, if I paint, and I'm on the phone with someone, for example, and I'm talking, you can tell in my color work. It's just not present, that I wasn't actually looking for the answers inside of me. I love working and being on my phone. I love working and talking. But when it comes to color work or character design or any sort of design, I need to be in touch with the quiet space inside of me. I need to listen to music, ideally, that matches what I'm drawing. Everything needs to serve my image and my contact to my internal world. It's the third day. Let's finish this thing. Got my immersive writing session, ambience music playing, and I'm just gonna power through. We are officially in the noodle stage of my painting, meaning all the hard stuff is figured out. I might have to change the colors on Jonathan because he looks kind of orange right now. I'm just gonna do another hour and a half of noodling to make it feel more finished, to make it feel all tied together, more like a painting and less like a sketch. But we're not gonna go too crazy. Like I said, I wanna maintain the playfulness. We're pretty much done. Could I have plussed the render style or the lighting or the way the characters look? Could I have finalized this even more or perfected their poses and stuff? Yes, of course, this is by no means perfect, but I'm really happy with it nonetheless. I feel like I achieved what I wanted to achieve. The characters to me feel alive and approachable. It feels like there's a little bit of mood in this scene. I like that. I didn't focus too much on the environment and the mood, but more at the scene. But still, I'm happy with the way the plants read. That gave me so much inspiration during my time in Austria. So all these things I've achieved, and yes, of course, there's always more that I could have achieved, and there's always other ways that I could perfect it, but what it comes down to is that I put stuff into my portfolio that I feel proud of, that I feel has some heart and some soul, and I feel that way about this painting, even though I was filming it every step of the way on YouTube, which was a new and a first for me and stuff. I'm still really happy with how it turned out and how loose and playful it still feels. So I'm really glad I filmed this entire process from start to finish. I hope it was in some way maybe helpful to you and your project. If there's any questions about the process, anything that's unclear and that I didn't cover, please let me know. I'll be happy to share anything that I've learned so far. I've got a ton of editing to do. There's so much footage, so I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for following along this little painting journey. I'm glad we could all witness the birth of this little scene together. Alright, bye bye.